God's still working on me.
Want to say good morning to you. It's Wncr-Tv Now, WAJA 102.5 as we talk about things impacting our state, our city, and our nation. Well, will you look at that? Facebook Live is working this morning. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool indeed. It was great to see that pop on. And something in my head said it's probably going to work. But nevertheless, so it looks like we're on Facebook Live this morning, and we also should be on YouTube, so simultaneously. So we're on both platforms this morning. So again, good morning to you. Thank you so much for tuning in to WNCR-TV Now. I'm still going to go to the WNCR-TV Facebook page and share the YouTube page as we try to migrate people over there as well, because whoever never ever knows about what Facebook is going to do. But obviously, I guess there were some praying folk, but they didn't particularly like YouTube, but nevertheless, hey, we got to go with what works and what works consistently. But again, right now we're on both of them, so that is always good indeed. But let me see here if I can go to the WNCR. There it is. We're on that page, and I need this link. Copy link. And what I'm just going to do today, because Facebook is working, is just put the YouTube link on the Facebook Live link. How about that? I'm going to say this is also the YouTube link. Paste. Okay, so we got that going on as well. So there we go. Two places. Simultaneously. That's essentially how it's supposed to work. But again, Facebook was just boycotting me for some reason. I don't know. I haven't boycotted anybody, and so they're boycotting me. Phone lines open today at 252-407-8432. That's 252-407-8432 is the number to call to participate in today's conversation as we talk about things impacting our state, our city, and our nation this morning. Again, we certainly appreciate each and every one of you for consistently tuning in. Those who watch via television, thank you so much. Those who listen via the radio, thank you so much. And those who are watching on the streaming situations, whether it's our website, mywncrtv.com, whether it's today, Facebook Live, or YouTube Live, we thank each and every one of you all for tuning in to WNCR TV Now. Again, as we talk about things impacting our state, our city, and our nation. A lot of conversation, of course, has been driven by what is happening nationally, because obviously what's happening nationally has some impact on what is happening locally. One thing that kind of has a state/North Carolina situation going on is Wayne Goodman, tenure for the North Carolina DMV, Department of Motor Vehicles. He says, hey, I'm getting out of here. North Carolina DMV Commissioner Wayne Goodman announced that he would not reapply for his position after facing public criticism over long waits, despite implementing some improvements such as hiring more staff and introducing online tools. Frustrations over the long waits in the Division of Motor Vehicles became so bad in 2020. Wayne Goodman, the Commissioner of North Carolina DMV, said on Wednesday he would not reapply for his position. In addition to the ongoing DMV modernization projects and online initiatives launched and expanding My Watch, NC needs a DMV workforce that is more proportionally reflects the explosive population growth of our state. North Carolina had well over 2.4 million new residents over 20 years, but only 3 new offices. I've shared this fact publicly from time and time again while understanding DMV is an essential service. We provide private business, realize there's 2.4 million new customers and growing. They added positions and more locations in addition to online service and seeking greater efficiencies. And so that is something to certainly consider, that if you are having this growth, but not a growth in the budget for the North Carolina DMV, it is going to be challenging. And then how do you kind of fix that? Well, you say, well, let's do more things online and having more access to do things electronically, which of course that kind of makes sense for sure, because it will take away sometimes, I was about to say operator error, but not necessarily, because sometimes you can have some operator error as well that ain't quite right. So who knows indeed, but we do know that he is not going to be the DMV commissioner whenever he leaves office, or replacement is being said for that. And of course, in Raleigh, North Carolina, a bill to crack down undocumented immigrants, North Carolina passed its first vote on Wednesday, and key Senate vote committee advocates for immigrants say it could drastically affect the state's economy by driving even more immigrants who are here legally out of the state. Republican Senator Leader Phil Berger, the lead sponsor of Senate Bill 153, titled the North Carolina Border Protection Act, an omnibus proposal that seeks to require all state agencies and state-funded programs to check all client immigration status, turn away those who are not legally in the country, and report back to state lawmakers their findings. The measure would also require all cabinet agencies to cooperate with the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement agencies, including the State Highway Patrol and other law enforcement agencies. The proposal would also repeal governmental immunity for cities and towns whose so-called sanctuary policies open them up for private lawsuits, and requiring the University of North Carolina system to work with immigration officials. Berger does not sponsor many bills. However, he's already facing a 2026 primary challenge right from Rockingham County Sheriff Sam Page, Senate Bill 153, which praises President Donald Trump and citizens. Let me say, read that again, which praises President Donald Trump and criticized Democrat Josh Stein, is what it should say. Could help boost Berger's conservative credentials among some voters. Immigration was one of the top issues for conservative voters in the 2024 election cycle, the polls have showed. In news release announcing the bill, filing, co-sponsor Senator Warren Daniel, Republican for Burke County, said the measure follows Trump's executive orders on immigration. Now we have a federal government that is taking border control seriously. We need to do our part in the state to ensure that our citizens are protected from criminal, illegal immigrants. And so that is what is going on here in our state. Of course, Senator Buck Newton, who's also a co-sponsor, presented in the bill committee on Wednesday, could go before the full Senate next week. The bill would only require those who are eligible for those benefits should receive them. Newton said, he's Representative Wilson. He said, I hope that this is something that everyone can agree with. And that is some kind of hypocrisy. I've also said on the bill, because they know the economy of the state needs this labor and immigrant communities, but at the same time, we're just some kind of public enemy. So, what's going to happen? Who knows? Well, certainly I think that the votes are there in the North Carolina Senate to pass if all Republicans work together. And no one jump ship, so to speak, for lack of a better word, then that should pass the Senate pretty easily. And similar would be true in the House. They don't have super majorities by one vote, but then of course you do have those compromised Democrats who are in the North Carolina General Assembly, who oftentimes will say, you know what? While I'm a registered Democrat, I'm going to vote for this Republican agenda item that may be a harm to my community, my constituent base, and perhaps even my state. But because I wish to remain in my seat and get whatever I'm getting, I'm going to do what I need to do because of political expediency. So that's what some choose to do, and that's how many of the laws that we have in our state are existing. Again, I remember Senate Bill 40 of some session that talked about protesting in our state, making it a felony to protest different things based on what type of damage is done to an area. And I can't remember what that threshold was. It was lower, and through the amendments, they did agree to raise it up to some set amount, but I cannot remember what that set amount is. But nevertheless, that is what we have in our community, immigration. Meanwhile, while you're talking about protecting North Carolina borders and being sure that illegal immigrants and criminals are off the streets, some would say there's criminal activity going on in North Carolina General Assembly with some of the votes and things that they take that are having negative impacts on communities across the state, including their so-called Haleen Relief Bill, which wasn't much of that. It was much of gubernatorial power shift and a change, judgeships and things of that nature. How will it help with Haleen Relief? I have no earthly idea. When you know, let me know at the end of the day. 54 minutes, should I say, past the 7 o'clock hour this morning on Wncr-Tv Now. Again, we are on Facebook Live this morning, as well as on YouTube simultaneously. So there we are there. And so we'll continue to do what we do. But again, I'm pretty sure Facebook Live won't work tomorrow. However, it did work consistently for quite some time. And all of a sudden it stopped. And today it decided it wanted to work, which is cool. I'll take it any and every day of the week for sure. Let's see. Let me say some good mornings here for those who are on Facebook, because I can see you there. I want to say good morning to John Jordan, Beautician Stevenson, Irma Maxwell. How do we position ourselves to make changes in the upcoming election 2026? I think some of the actions that are being done in this country will position themselves anyway, where people will get sick and tired of being sick and tired and will vote differently. When you think about how many people are supportive of the Democratic Party today compared to how many people were supportive of the Democratic Party of the past, it's different, right? And so what their philosophy and stand is where we're different. In fact, this is something I was just reading, so I'm going to share it today. I might have shared this before on the airways, but I think it's always fitting as we are wrapping up Black History Month in 2025. Talks about the 1900 Black disenfranchisement. The Democratic majority General Assembly in 1899 passed a bill that put a constitutional amendment before the voters that would require citizens to pass a literacy test in order to register to vote. The amendment added the famous grandfather clause, which said that if your grandfather could vote, you would be exempt from the literacy test. This was meant to protect the rights of people because in 1900s, the grandfathers of most black people had been slaves and otherwise could not vote. The Democrats added the grandfather clause to win over whites from the Populist Party. The constitutional amendment passed in August of 1900 in a statewide referendum that was marked by fraud and imitation of black voters. Many years later, the speech before Edgecombe County Civics Club, prominent Tarboro Dr. Spencer Bass recalled, "I can remember the terminal years of Reconstruction. We had a Negro congressman from this district, a Negro state legislators, a Negro mayor, a Negro councilman, a Negro police, a Negro superintendent of schools, Negro government. I saw Edgecombe County Courthouse crowded with Negroes listening to an inflammatory address by Negroes politicians. A group of white men entered with drawn revolvers. They dispersed the meeting and escorted the speaker out of town. Were these men hoodlums? No. They were led by Mr. Dunn Gillum, the father of the present federal judge by the same name. Next was Judge Frederick Phillips. Next, my father, Dr. Henry Turner Bass. There were many others. I helped fold up the ballots, which went into boxes with false bottoms, which then counted disenfranchisement of the ignorant Negro." So, Democratic Party at that time, as students of history, we should know that they were not supportive of black folks in this country. They were not supportive of seeing Negroes in position of power. So that is something that the Democratic Party shifted on. And the Republican Party now has taken on that philosophy in many stances, while for some reason, many will say that they don't. And they would wonder why there is a vast hole of minority members, only when I deal with race now, minority members when it comes to the African American race in the Republican Party, it is minimal. There are some, but by and large, a large percentile of black folks in America are either registered independent or registered Democrats. But at one time, it would be taboo to be a Democrat in America if you were a Negro or a black individual because of the Democrat stance on the Negro or black folks in positions of power. And we've flipped that now. And so the question was asked of me yesterday, what do I love about Rocky Mount? And not Rocky Mount, love about this country. And I said I would, think about that over a 24-hour period and try to figure out what that love is. And I didn't think about it. In actuality, I have been doing this and that and everything else. However, as soon as I got out of the car today, this morning, it was, okay, it was brought back to my remembrance. Brought back to my remembrance. And it was quite interesting as to how it was brought back to my remembrance. And as soon as I got out of the vehicle this morning, let me see if this loops. Let me see. No, yes, maybe so. Yeah. So as soon as I got out of the vehicle, what did I see? I saw what I see every day, but I didn't take note of it today. And that is American flag over the self-help building in downtown Rocky Mountain. Of course, you'll see it. The flag is a little ripped there, but nevertheless, it is flying in the air, full staff, over downtown Rocky Mountain. And I said, what is it that I love about America? And one thing in seeing those rips in that flag this morning made me think about the fact that America, what I love about America is that over its creation, over its being, it has been designed as a nation that can always reinvent itself. That nothing has ever been permanent in this nation. And so as we go through the rips and the scars and the battles and this, that, and the third, America has bounced back, has changed its thought process on this and that and the third. And so it has been a very living nation, because the truth of the matter is, when you think about a human being coming into this world, as I learned in my early education classes I took at Edgecombe Community College at the opening of the daycare center, was that students are born, or children are born tabula rasa. They're born as a blank slate. And it's what we pour into the child is what they're going to ultimately end up doing. It sets their morals, it sets their norms and all this kind of stuff. And so the question then becomes, over the creation of America, what has been poured into it, what have we allowed to rise up, what have we allowed to wither away, and these repetitive cycles of, I think the thing is glitching, isn't it? So yeah, it's freezing up. I need to see what's going on there. I didn't pause because I went crazy. I paused because I'm looking at the TV screen. So I'm trying now to wonder if Facebook Live is freezing up. But so that is what I think I love about America, is that America has the opportunity, based on the current laws that exist, or I'll say most of the majority of the laws, it gives you an opportunity to really say that this isn't the way it has to be. Now, what we do see is there is a group of elected officials who would much rather change the foundational construct of America with an attempt to create laws and or policies that would add some permanency to the values, the social norms of today. Now that could be damaging. And then someone said, well, it depends on what that is. It depends on what the moment is. And I remember some time ago when there was this HK on J on Jones Street and wanted to do a whole bunch of stuff in North Carolina based on what was going on with our state legislator body, and it's probably still going on today. There was this phrase that was, I remember from then, it probably was way before then too, But it was saying, let's not get caught up in the moment. Let's build this movement. And as I said before, I think last week, and I'll say again today, that sometimes we've got to step away from the movement and look at the moment and analyze what's really going on. Because again, we get so emotionally involved in things that we're blinded. We're blinded by some of the things that will actually be detrimental to us. You look at some of the people who are on social media today who have said, I voted for the Republican agenda. I voted for Donald Trump because I believe he was going to do what he said he was going to do. And now that he's doing what he said he's going to do, I see it's detrimental to me. Jobs are being cut. Bills are being voted on that's going to probably have negative impact on Medicaid and Medicare and all of these, Social Security, you name it. Things that are going to be detrimental to folks. But again, there was a number of people via social media in various communities across this country who were saying some of the stuff that they're talking about, it's not going to be beneficial to all Americans. Some of the things they're talking about is going to lead to our own demise. But because many were caught up in this labeling thing of Democrat versus Republican, or the have versus the have not, we found ourselves where we are today. But going back to what I said originally, the great thing about our country, the greatest thing about our country, I probably would say, that we have the ability to bounce back. We have the ability to reform what we thought was our last. And what does it take? History shows you this. It takes people tired of being sick and tired. It takes people standing up for true justice, for more than just the wealthy in America, more than just the poor in America, more than just the middle class in America, but truly saying that I want to do something that's going to impact everyone in America in the most positive way possible. 1901, George H. White leaves Congress. It says, due to the passage of the Constitutional Amendment, which took away black votes, Congressman George H. White declined renomination as Republican candidate to North Carolina in 1900s. White said, I can no longer live in North Carolina and be a man. Wealthy white Democrat Claude Kitchen of Scotland Neck was elected to replace George White in Congress. White moved to D.C. and then to Philadelphia, where he worked as a lawyer and founded a black-owned bank. White also founded an all-black town in southern New Jersey called Whitesboro, which still exists today. Before leaving office as the last African-American in Congress, White gave his final farewell speech, or I guess your farewell speech, on the floor of Congress on January the 29th, 1901. His speech was one of the most eloquent, courageous, and historic speeches in African-American history. It marked the end of an era of liberation from slavery to the beginning of 65 years of an era of segregation, Jim Crow, and an all-white Democrat one-party rule, a lily-white Republican Party that now barrel blacks the ultimate betrayal. White recounted all the progress African Americans made in 35 years since liberation from slavery to predicting what, despite the disenfranchisement and Jim Crows that blacks were facing, that they would rise again. This, Mr. Chairman, may be the Negro's temporary farewell to the American Congress, but let me say, Phoenix-like, he will rise again. He will rise up one day and come again. These parting words are in behalf of the outraged, broken, or heartbroken rather, bruised and bleeding, but God-fearing people. Faithful, loyal people, rising people, full of potential force. And again, you can check that from the Congressional Record of 1929. January the 29th, 1901 is page 1634 and 1638. So yet again, it talks about the transition of America yet again. And I do believe that we are on a situation. So it may be that we need to not do the Facebook Live and just go over to the YouTube. So something may be going on that's causing this glitch. Because again, I didn't have this glitch yesterday. And so I see some people saying they lost the signal on Facebook. So yeah, so I did, if you look on the feed there, you'll see where it says, here's a YouTube link. If you click there and navigate over there, I'm going to end the Facebook Live. And maybe that might take away what I'm seeing too over here on regular television. So we're going to end the Facebook Live, but click on the link there to the YouTube page. It'll take you right to where it is. All right. So that's that. Maybe that will correct the glitching thing that I was seeing going on there as well. But let me see who are on Facebook again before I terminated that. That seems to be, so yeah, that's interesting. Facebook is on a little pause. Who knows? But anyway, we're on Facebook, not Facebook Live. We're on YouTube there. So whatever's going on with that. What's it talking about? Yeah, so that is where we are as it relates to the what do I love about America situation. Now, this is quite interesting. Maybe I should turn that TV off and I will see it. But obviously, actually, I need to fix whatever it is. And it could be the software here, I hope. And the way to determine that is actually for me to go off the air on TV and then see if it plays error-free there and troubleshooting some stuff, because I don't know how comfortable it is for those to watch with it breaking up and pausing the way that it is there, because I know it's certainly distracting to me with the pause. So yeah, let me see something here. Let me see something here if we were to Let me see. Oh, I gotta log into that. So let me just do it on this one. Everything kind of slow. So it may be this. I don't know what it is. I'm gonna find out what it is by troubleshooting one thing at a time on live television. How about that? And I guess it's semi-live television with the semi-delayed. So those who are watching on TV, you're going to see a break in connection here. So that I might be able to, well, that's supposed to be my password. So something tripping with that too. I see. Okay. There we go. All right, so we're going to change the programming real quick on television in an effort to troubleshoot where the encoder issue is, whether it's in the software itself or whether it is. And I could have actually looked at YouTube live and actually figure that out. And then I think about it, I'm a little delayed because if it's going fine here, then the issue is elsewhere. So the issue could be this very computer right here, which I think that is the culprit. That is the culprit. But let me just confirm it. Today is Thursday. Today is Thursday. All right. Let me change it to 1. Let me change it to 1. So those on TV will see it go to YouTube America for a second. And if it is this, then I will need to go off TV to fix it. So let's see here for my television people. Is it going like it's supposed to go over television? Let's see if I see any irregularities in the signal. And it looks like it's doing fine. So that means that it's as is this computer here. Technology is quite interesting, but at least you know how to navigate and troubleshoot through it. So yep, that's what the issue is this device here. So I need to restart this device, which would cause me to go off the air on TV, but we'll stay on the air on YouTube, and it'll bounce back, and we'll be right back to where we were. So let me do that real quick. Okay. So we'll come back to me. Wrong. Wrong day. You got to be on the right day to make it work. Okay. So anyway, that's that. Figured out what that issue was. So again, I really could check the Facebook Live, not Facebook Live, but YouTube, and it did look like YouTube was going fine. And so we're going to restart this computer, and hopefully this will rectify the situation. Hope that will rectify the situation on television. It restart anyway. So we'll go off TV for a second. You'll probably get a blue screen, and then we will move. We'll bounce back there once the thing has restarted itself. So again, I hope that answered the question for Mr. Smiler, who asked me yesterday, what is it I love about America? And maybe he thought my comments as I talk, open about America, about whatever, that he might have taken it. I don't like America, and then that's definitely not the case. But it is some challenging times for those who are thinking about the consequences of the actions that are before us today, and how we are attempting to change the fundamental foundation of America. So who knows what would ultimately happen? But again, if we go back and look at history, there's always this rise and fall, this rise and fall of what our goals are, what our ambitions are, what our hopes and aspirations are. So I get it. I get it 100%. I get it 100%. We'll get there. We'll get there one day. It may not be how we want it, when we want it, as fast as we want it, but nevertheless, I do believe that we will get there again. But why in the world do we go through these hills and valleys consistently? And I guess the answer to that is found scripturally then, right? That's actually what it is. It's found scripturally. Because we can go right here, and it says, to everything there is a season, a time for every purpose under the heaven, a time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to pluck up that which was planted, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to break down, a time to build up, a time to weep, a time to laugh, a time to mourn, a time to dance, a time to cast away stones, a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace, a time to refrain from embracing, a time to get and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to cast away, a time to rend and a time to sow, a time to keep silent and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. What profit has he that worketh in where he labored? So now that's not how TV should. Okay, there it is. It repositioned itself, or working on reposition itself there. Let's see how that encoder is working. Now, it could not have been the computer. Actually, it could have been the encoder itself. So we're back on television now, and so I'm seeing it kind of needing to get to where it needs to get to do what it needs to do. And it looks like we might have resolved. Let's see. I got to keep talking consistently without. Nope. I think I just saw a pause. So then it's another encoder. I need to reset. Live television at itself. So that's always good too. So anyway, it's nothing. It never hurts to restart a computer. Now there may be one more device that I'm going to need to restart, that we can have consistency in the over-the-air programming there. And so what I will want to do then, because it just going, let me just do this.
The trained staff at Promised Land Child Care Center is dedicated to nurturing the growth and development of your children in a safe, caring environment. We are open 24/7 with affordable pricing on full, part-time, and drop-in care. Call Promised Land Child Care today or visit us online to learn more.
ALB Building Company is a full-service general contractor. Big or small, they can handle it all. Renovations, additions, or new construction. Think ALB Building Company. We're available at 919-803-4911. That's 919-803-4911. We're ready to transform your vision into reality. ALB Building Company, 919-803-4911.
Greetings, beloved. I'm Pastor J.T. Worthy of the St. James Missionary Baptist Church of Rocky Mount. Tune in each Saturday morning at 9 a.m. for the word, worship, and witness of the St. James Church in our Great Awakenings broadcast, right here on Wncr-Tv.
It's time for Weekly Joy with Eki. If you're ever feeling stuck, down, or just need a little extra kick of motivation for the week, you're in for a treat. Tune in right now and let's light up your week with joy.
Oh, I forgot about Weekly Joy. Yeah, Weekly Joy with Eki. I hope she's doing well. I did reach out to her for sure. Want to say now, it actually was not what I thought it was that needs to be reset there. And I think, and maybe it's working properly there, because I was about to say, when I went back there, nope, it isn't. So I think I now know what it is, because those commercials you just saw was actually playing out of the same device. And so therefore, Oh, wait. We was talking about encoding on yeah, but those commercials played fine. And so actually, I think I know that I need to recycle the actual camera device is what it's going to be in. And I'm not going to do that until I get off the air because that's going to may not come back on without me redoing some stuff. And I could just get off the air now and actually fix this stuff and come back tomorrow. That'll probably be the better thing for me to do. So, yeah, there it is, an instant decision there. So I'm going to conclude this morning's broadcast with an effort to get this pausation that's going on the screen. Yeah, because it's still doing it. Well, then I don't know if it's doing it. That's kind of crazy. It may be all in my head. So I'll tell you what I'm doing. Yeah, I'm going to get out the air for today, and I'll be back tomorrow, Friday, to do it all over again on Wncr-Tv Now, and hopefully we'll have some error-free situation. Came on today, had Facebook Live going, thinking it was going pretty well. Had YouTube Live going on at the same time. Said, okay, this is going to be a pretty good day. And then here it is. The main over-the-air signal was seeming to have some problems, and now it's seeming to be fine now. After the reset of the computer. Yeah, I don't know. I'll see you tomorrow.